Hello, welcome to another episode of Finding My Fit at 40.
Wow. Wow, your watch is yelling at you. That's a long hold.
Amazing breath control, too.
Wow. Are you a musician or something?
Stay off the pod, Siri.
I know, my watch wanted to be part of the
Your watch
pod
is
on
like,
that
shut
one.
up.
What up, Chrissy? What up, Mike?
Hello there.
How are
Hi.
you guys doing today?
Super
Can't
good.
complain.
Had a great weekend of eating food, so I'm going to try to maybe not eat so much food today.
Yeah, maybe not so much,
Yeah. It was
but still
fun.
What'd you
enjoy it.
eat? I love food.
I did. I went good. I had pad thai on. Our friends were in town, so we did a lot of eating because we all like to eat.
Do love me some pad thai.
Yeah. So we had some pad thai, and it was bangarang. And then on Saturday we went to Eatangs, which is this little spot here in Savannah, and they make the most amazing soup dumplings. The soup, everything they had was really good.
Soup dumplings.
Yeah, that just makes me
They're
think of wonton
you
soup.
know-
I've never had
I'm like
soup
dumplings and soup.
Oh,
Ooh,
guys,
so
they're
good.
so good. It's so you know the little steamy box. It's made of wood and it's
Yeah, yeah,
steamy.
yeah.
Okay, and you see
Yeah.
dumplings in it. It's
Yeah.
that, right?
Okay.
And you open it, and there's these little perfectly formed dumplings.
Like
and
dim
you,
sums?
You scoop them into your spoon, and they are full of soup on the inside with also
Wait, what?
it's really good.
That sounds like it would burn the crap out of your
Oh
mouth.
no, it's perfect. It's everything.
Sounds like that wouldn't hold the get. Because every time I've opened one of those things, those perfectly dumplings are not perfect. There's little tears or little. So how does that's
You
impressive
kind
that
of get
they
them
keep
onto
the
your
soup-
your spoon. Man, I don't know, it's so good. And
It's
then
like the water balloon of dumplings.
It is. It is
the
like that.
water balloon.
It is like a food water balloon. It's amazing.
a flavored balloon
Yeah.
of watery
You want to eat this
deliciousness.
balloon. Yes,
Don't eat
that
latex,
place
kids.
is super good. All the stuff they make there is really, really good. And then we had sushi on Sunday. So we just did a lot
That's a
of
big Asian
We went
weekend.
Asian, hard on the
I love
Asian
that.
food.
I
yeah.
love it. That is so good. By the way,
so
pad thai, I
delicious.
love it, but drunken noodles is kind of my
Oh,
thing.
me
love
too.
me
I
some
I
love
like
drunken
drunken noodles, but
noodles.
I'll take pad thai with it. But
Yeah.
I've got a sweet tooth.
I
So
like
the
My
pad thai
buddy makes this
definitely.
pad thai, and he doesn't make it overly sweet, which is why I really like this pad
Okay.
thai.
I haven't had his pad
should
thai.
try
Where
it
is that? Is that at a place or is it somebody cook for you?
My buddy cooks for me. Yeah, he's the best. He's the best.
That is. I need a buddy who cooks. Mike,
We
you
all
cook?
need a buddy who cooks.
Mike, do
I
you
can do
cook?
Italian. That's about it.
Mike's like, I do these great cake
Spaghetti?
things in the microwave.
Oh, that's right. I can't do the spaghetti. I don't eat spaghetti.
Spaghetti with
Whatever.
a jar of sauce is
It's
not
just
Italian.
not my favorite noodle. I like fettuccine or linguine. I like
Okay.
the fatter noodle.
fatter noodle?
Yeah, spaghetti doesn't do it.
What's your
Definitely
favorite
not
noodle,
angel
Victor?
hair.
My favorite noodle.
Yeah. What's your favorite noodle?
I actually am like.
What a dating
as
question.
I
Yeah.
used
Right?
to
Yeah.
love the fettuccine or linguine because I used to love clam, like white sauce, like white
Yeah,
clam
white sauce,
sauce, and
yeah.
like a garlic thing. Yeah, but I don't really eat that. It has nothing to do with the weight loss. I haven't eaten that for a while, so I'm like out on the long stringy noodles anymore.
Okay.
Like
You
I
like
just
short noodles, like the little curly cues or bow ties or elbows. What are we doing here? What kind of body
I
part or
don't hate
shape?
a bow tie. A bow tie is fun.
yeah, I like
Yeah.
the bow ties.
A bow tie's fun.
Yeah, I'm just pretty
What do
simple.
they call the
Penne.
little tiny,
Or
almost like
rigatoni.
rice-sized pastas? They're like little tiny circles.
Oh, couscous? Is that what you mean? Because
No, I
that's
don't think-
technically a pasta.
Is that
I
a
don't think
pasta?
there is a tiny rice-sized pasta.
Yeah, couscous.
Couscous isn't pasta.
Yes, it is.
Negative. I won't allow it.
I don't
As an
know.
Italian,
well, the
I will
reason
not
I'm
allow
asking
it.
is
It
I don't
is
know what it's
technically a
called.
pasta.
That's not an Italian word. It's not a pasta.
Oh,
Yes.
damn.
Boom, science.
Science. Ineffective science, which we can talk about that today. We are going to talk about a little bit about, we were just talking about this prior to the pod, some of the reels and some of the stuff that we've seen.
The horse shit?
yeah.
Horse shit.
Yeah.
So we talk about all this stuff all the time, and we always bring up reels because we are social media junkies like the rest of you are as well, I'm sure. I spend lots of time on the toilet looking at reels.
What else is there to do on the toilet? You know what I mean?
What did we do prior
it was
to
like
phones
magazines,
on the
man.
toilet?
It was
Did you
like-
you have to like
Books
use
or
your brain?
magazines.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Magazines.
right.
This is when somebody kind of blew my mind. I've never tried it.
You wiped your butt with the magazine?
Just pooping?
Dear God,
Pooping with nothing?
your brain really. We call those intrusive thoughts, people.
Sorry.
No, but one in I think it's Japan. The toilets are made like longer, and you sit on them in reverse. So, but you could like do it on your toilet where you use the back of the toilet as like the resting place for your book or magazine,
So
and you sit on it backwards. Yeah, I've never tried it because it just weirds me out, but I can
feels wrong.
see the benefit there.
I don't think that's a benefit. I feel that I'm getting too personal with my toilet at that time.
Hey, toilet.
Yeah.
Really?
How you
Because
doing?
you're always getting really personal with
Yeah,
your
but I don't
toilet.
have to
Toilet.
look them in the eye. You know what I mean?
In the
Your
eye.
toilet has
You
eyes.
should put googly eyes on your toilet, and you just have a whole conversation with it.
Just remind you not to look at
Yeah.
right in its
I'm
googly
sorry I'm
eyes.
doing this to you. That's how I feel like every time. So I don't have to go into that. But yeah, we all spend a lot of time on social media, but we always see all of these. We have a group chat that the three of us send random stuff. It's a lot of reels. It's a lot of videos.
Sometimes it's quality shit, and sometimes
Most
it's like
of the time, it's
dear
like
God.
really amazing food. Also, so
Yeah,
it is that.
you never know.
Yeah.
What we're gonna
But there's
get.
a lot of like, hey, what do you think about this? What is this thing? And there's so much information and so many things out there that we wanted to kind of talk about, like, how do you decipher through all that kind of stuff? How
Right.
do you
Yeah,
get
I mean,
through
there could
all
be
of that?
someone that you're following who you think maybe has good information, and shit they could be spewing is like complete BS.
Right, and what it comes down to is people are learning to be better and better at sales. Really, they're either selling themselves, they're selling a product, they're selling something out there. And with the amount of attention that I think people just enjoy in general, hopping on social media when you've just heard something that you're now putting out as fact.
Yeah, it's like there's no one is fact checking themselves. Like not just even in
Yeah.
Reels, but just all across social media. People will just share something, and I'm like, did you even look that up before you just shared it?
Well, I mean, think about how often in conversation we all know plenty of people who are just literally putting out shit that they're like, oh, this is definitely true. And-
Yeah.
And, you're like, what?
Yeah,
Really?
no.
But is it? So
But
it's
I
the same
think-
thing now on social media where they can reach everybody and have that much more attention as far as that goes.
Because what do we measure success in? Is what do we measure success as getting out at reality? Like,
Accurate information.
yeah, is that success, or is growing a following
Yeah,
and being
and-
famous?
Yeah, it seems
is
like
that
it's
success?
very flipped.
I think that
to,
the sad
So
fact
what-
is these days the majority of the
Yeah.
population measures success via followers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so I one of the guys that
or
I
comments are like. I mean, I wonder if people are spreading misinformation just to get a bunch of engagement of their posts.
So
of
I
people
was
being
Some
just
like,
are,
gonna
bullshit.
say,
yeah,
one
absolutely.
of the guys that I follow, who I really like a lot, he is one of those guys who like crushes other people that are doing like
He just debunks people's
yeah,
things.
it does a
Yeah.
lot of stuff. But one of the things that he put out is the reason a lot of people do it is because there have actually been studies done, apparently, I don't know, this was according to him, that you gain more traction from false information than
Yeah.
you do from real information.
Or like from like
Yeah.
like Morgan
So-
and Morgan just went and changed all their billboards. Remember you saw that? Did you see
No.
that? Morgan and Morgan changed their billboards to make it look like they were like graffitied, but it was intentional marketing scheme. I think this is what I heard anyway. That basically they said instead of for the people, which is like their tag, they said for the money. And they like scratched it out and made it look like spray paint, and everyone was talking about it, and it got everybody talking about it.
Oh my God.
But it
I
was
mean,
like
that's the way to do it.
Exactly. So it's like
that's
you
what
could
marketing
do-
is.
Yeah.
So we get mad. We talk about this all the time on the pod about how we get mad. I can't believe they're doing this, but like that's the full intention of advertising
It's
and
psychology.
marketing. And
Yeah.
it's really hard as a consumer to go through. Like these people are smart. They're not dumb. Advertising people are genius.
They know exactly how to
level.
manipulate you.
And like they've been doing it for years, like with cigarettes and alcohol, and so I mean everything. There's how many? This is how good marketing people are. How many products do you know as that product by
Brand?
the brand name,
Yeah.
like Rollerblade?
like Kleenex. Yeah.
Like Kleenex. We call it Kleenex. That's not what it is.
Yeah,
it's a facial tissue. Is the
Q-tips.
tech name. Yeah, Q-tips. Same thing.
Yep.
So there's so many things that these marketing people have done such an amazing job at what they do. That's their job, is to sell things. Well, now those people are like, hey, why work for a company when I can do this for myself? One of the biggest, well, I don't know if they're the biggest, but a humongous one that I cannot stand because this is exactly what it's done. He's been debunked so many times. Flav City, have you guys seen this? I'm on their Facebook. Their Facebook page has 4.4 million followers.
Oh shit!
If
What
you
is
go through
Flav
his
City?
posts,
Is that a
Flav's-
person?
It's the Bobby is the guy's name, but he goes on and he talks all the time about who, like different products, and he's like, "Oh, this is so bad. It uses this oil, blah
I
blah."
see, okay.
And then he's like, "It has sunflower oil in it. Don't use. It's so bad for you, or whatever oil, grape seed. It's so bad." He's like, "I actually have this product that blah blah," blah. And that's how he
That will
does a
solve
lot
all
of
your
these
problems.
videos.
Damn.
And he then also, how awful is this? So this Flav City guy, not only does he have that, he has his own products. You then, if you buy a product from him, if you don't get it, the product, like if it's something happens in shipping, he goes, "Oh, it's too bad. Did you buy Bobby Care?" He calls it.
Oh my God.
And then you have to pay additional money to guarantee that you get the product.
A lot of companies are doing that now.
Wow.
It's not a lot of money. Like it'll be anywhere
like
from
an
like
extra $4
99
or
cents to
something
like
like a
$3
couple
or
bucks, yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
with 4.4
but I'm
million
like,
followers, that extra
for me, it's
few
like, well,
dollars goes a long
horseshit.
way.
You're selling the product. It's shipping through a shipping company.
And
like
honestly,
someone
the
is
mail
already responsible for that.
Pretty reliable,
Yeah.
like these days too. So if you have to put something in there like that and put out a statement that, well, too bad you didn't get this care, you know, it's somewhere deep down he's just got it set up to just not ship out a variety of things or a
Yeah, I
percentage.
mean, he's
of
just
ship.
pocketing $4 off of every sale.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
So
Yeah.
that was just one of
Yeah.
the examples. But I really wanted to say with this pod is watch out for those supermarket walkers. They feel like they're the worst.
Yeah, that's a trend, and
It is. There's so many people that go through like Sam's Club or Costco and look at this. I've seen people that have done it and they're
themselves in the
What's that?
Just recording themselves in the grocery stores.
yeah,
is-
but the way that they go about it, be like, this is so good for you, and then they start naming things that are like bad for you, and I'm like, what? One of the accounts that I really like a lot, Dr. Ids.
yeah,
I've
he's
seen
cool.
you guys. I've
Yeah.
sent you guys a bunch
Yeah,
of things.
yeah.
He has videos out where he shows like people that say if you can't read the label, then you shouldn't be eating it, and he starts reading the labels. He's like, wait. I can read them, so can I eat this stuff? Does that mean I'm able to?
Yeah, where do we draw that line?
How's that? And he also started then naming. He's like, so this, and I don't remember the specifics.
But it's found
But
in
he went-
apples, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
he's
it's
like, that's another name for salt. It's just like
Right.
Yeah.
there. It's just a type of salt,
Well,
or it's a type of.
I've seen the argument go back and forth where it's like it's chemicals. You got chemicals in here, and then you
Everything's
know,
chemicals.
You present everything literally. And then you present somebody with a chemical breakdown of a banana,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Well, would you eat this?" And they're like, "No, I wouldn't. Look at all the
That's a
chemicals.
banana."
It's a banana, guy."
yeah.
So
Talking about the amount of things too.
Yeah.
They're like, this is such a if you eat too much of this, it's dangerous. If you eat too much of anything,
literally,
it's
if you
bad
drink too
for
much
you.
water,
If
you will die.
That's what I was just going to say. You could die if you drink too much water in one
Right.
city. So you shouldn't drink any water. Water's
that-
bad for you.
And that's too where the argument for a lot of the artificial sweeteners falls super, super short. One, the science is literally there showing that it does decrease, you know, likeliness of obesity when used as a dietary tool.
Yeah.
But, and two, like if you just look at the aspartame as one of the biggest one, breaks down into three different chemical compounds, one of which phenylalanine. Yeah, in the amount that you get in like a diet soda or whatever, you get about 20 times that in just a steak. You know, so it's like people are going to villainize chemical
Yeah.
compounds
Yeah.
on the whole without the actual
I
studies
feel
to
like
back it.
aspartame recently really got shit on, didn't it?
It gets shit on in waves for the most
it
part.
really does, doesn't it?
But it's also it's often like one of the very last ingredients in a list, and I don't think enough people know this, though. That the further you get down the list of ingredients,
less
the
of
less
that
of it
ingredient
that
is
is in
there.
there.
The
So
first
the amount of
ingredient is the
aspartame
most.
you've actually got, if anybody's ever had like the little liquid sucralose or aspartame, whatever, you need just like the quickest little squirt in your beverage, or you've like drastically
Yeah.
oversweetened
Nobody
it to
likes
the
a quick squirt.
It's so interesting
Nobody
to me
does.
Nobody
how,
likes a quick
how
squirt.
like sugar. Like if I was going to sweeten my coffee, I would need like a lot of packets of real sugar in
Right.
comparison to packets of some kind
Right.
of sweet.
Oh, because sweeteners are way more sweet.
Yeah, so
Which is
it's
so
so
sweet.
little the amount that you would need to get that nice level of sweetness. And then any study that, again, there's been multiple meta-analyses on humans for these artificial sweeteners, but everybody still wants to quote the rodent studies, the mice studies on these.
Yeah, they gave him so
They're
much.
pumping like 20,000 times the amount you could take in on any given day
a
into
rat.
these mice. Yeah, which in rats, their stomach acid has a high concentration of lomic acid, which you don't have to know what that is. It causes the artificial sweeteners would cause like crystals to form in the rats, and then cancer issues and whatever. We don't have that physiology. So it's
Yeah.
very, very different. And we have the studies now showing what it does in the human body. So to continue to villainize it, you're selling me something.
So here's also the side of that. If I was to walk up to most human beings, including myself 2 years ago, and offered you a red pill and a blue pill. Red pill is you just stay on the path that you're at. You won't eat any sweeteners and stuff, but you'll be heavy and obese, but you'll be quote unquote healthy. A blue pill, you get to be fit and in shape, but you lose 2 years of your life.
Yeah.
Which one are you going to take? A lot of people are going to take that blue pill and sacrifice it. So even if these chemicals are bad, which they're not, I'm not saying that that's what you're doing, but even if the sweeteners are bad and this and it actually shortens the length of your life, then yeah, I mean, I'm still going to take that.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's an interesting perspective. So we could just say, like, what if all the scientists and all the studies are slightly wrong and you are decreasing your lifespan? However, all of your other health markers go up and you end up living a much higher quality of life. But yeah, you've lost 2 to 5 years off of your, ultimately 100-year lifespan.
But I gained so much more of that out of experiences.
Correct.
Even just the joy and the things that I can do with my kids now that I couldn't do before, running around with them, doing things like, I'm not like, oh, go, you guys do it. I'm like, which I did forever.
Yeah.
Well, not forever. They're only 7 and 4. But before I lost the weight, it was a big difference. And now I really dramatically noticed that difference. So just in that aspect, and even if you don't have kids, just in doing things in general.
Absolutely. I think that the same mindset happens with medication as well. And I'm big on not taking medication that I don't need.
Yes.
I'll put stuff off for a while before I'll ever touch an antibiotic. I'd rather be miserable for a week or so. Let my body find it. I mean, that's my own personal training. But on the same note, like, I'll take ADHD meds if I have to sit in front of a computer for 6 to 8 hours and do shit, because that helps me sit there as opposed to struggling all day.
He has ADHD. He's not just randomly.
I do know that's an
ADHD.
Actual script. I've been prescribed.
Yes, he's not just randomly popping pills to be able to do.
No,
but anyone who's listened to this podcast for like more than 5 minutes know that Michael is ADHD.
Yeah, big time. And I'm not on meds this morning. But the difference is I feel like these days people are just throwing meds at kids or whatever because they don't want to deal with them. I went 20 years in the military. Beep boop. I went 20 years in the military having to not, I wasn't able to medicate. So I got to socially adapt. But again, my point is that a lot of people say that meds are going to shorten your lifespan. Well, if taking a pill increases the quality of my life, I'm going to go and...
Yeah, I'd rather enjoy my shorter life
100%,
than be miserable
100%.
for my longer life.
Now, there's a balance to it. I'm not going to take meds every day. I take as needed, and I had the chance to socially adapt. So it's a whole other discussion. We get into what recommendations with kids and people.
Yeah, I mean, that's not something we don't need to talk about right now, but maybe another pod.
But I agree with the premise. If there's a chance, and the studies are not showing that it's going to shorten your life. In fact, you're going to drastically increase your life by upping all of those health markers and lowering the risk for all-cause mortality.
That if it was black and white or red and blue, as I put it before, then okay, it's one or the other.
Right.
But okay, so let's say they are carcinogenic at all, these other chemicals or the aspartame or whatever, and it does have some negative doesn't that kind of get counterbalanced by the fact that you're in better shape and all your other health markers are better?
I mean, now we're getting into deeper territory as far as I know what you're saying, but you have to be kind of careful with that, because if you're taking something that is dead set proven to kind of cause cancer at some point, then maybe that's not the route you would go. But so the fact remains that has not been proven.
Yeah.
And your ability to fight off it has been disproven. Your ability to actually fight off disease and sickness, et cetera, comes with less inflammation in the body and lower body fat percentages and more insulin resistance and training and having a much healthier
this is kind of
environment.
random, but do you guys find that you can eat? Is there a point of consumption of sweeteners that makes you sick? That upsets your stomach?
So I thought there was.
I have that, so I was just wondering because literally, I can only eat so much.
Well, for me,
sweetener.
it's I think it's the polyphenol family. So it's like erythritol. If I have too much erythritol, it does kind of make my stomach upset.
Yeah, mine too.
So prior to losing all this weight, this is I guess exactly where I was. Is I thought sweeteners were terrible for you. They cause cancer. They were awful. You don't touch sweeteners. So I never consumed sweeteners ever.
And look how extreme that view is. That's what's been sold to people for so long. This
I didn't
will
do
cause
any
cancer.
fast
I
food.
won't use this shit.
I didn't eat any fast food. I didn't eat any sweeteners, and I was still 246 pounds and 5'7".
Yeah.
The height thing hasn't changed. Still short.
Damn, you didn't get any taller?
No, nor
Me
shorter.
neither. I try every day.
You got to squat heavier.
Yeah.
You know.
That's
That feels like I would be shorter.
Yeah, I was gonna
No,
say, that feels
there's
like-
a rebound effect. You know what I mean? Your body starts fighting gravity
Oh,
more.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Boom.
Science.
That feels
Yeah.
like science.
We call that pseudoscience, but if it gets people squatting more, I'm all for it.
all for it. I'll take the hate mail too. Whatever.
Yeah.
As long as you're squatting more.
I've
and
been
healthier.
squatting for years. I'm strong as shit, and I'm in better shape, but I did not get taller. And I'm
guy's
like,
like, he's-
you're welcome.
You're-
He's so stacked and wide. He's like, I think I look shorter. Sorry, man.
Sorry, guy.
My bad. So my back to my. So,
We
Mike, you
circle
do this
around
to me
points.
so many times. You make me laugh, and then I completely forget what I'm talking about. So, I had this really extreme view, and so I didn't consume any sweeteners. In fact, I thought sweeteners made me sick. I had really issues with my stomach. I got sick to my stomach and diarrhea all the time. I always had to worry about what I was eating, had to try to pay attention, and I thought it was butter, I thought it was this, I thought it was that, I thought it was, and then I was like, oh, it's sweeteners that does it to me. So I thought I really got affected by sweeteners every time I drank consumed anything with a sweetener in it. So I never touched sweeteners. Then I went through this whole thing and dove in. I was like, well, if I'm gonna get sick, let's try it. I'm gonna try this. I get sick so less often. Like, I was getting sick like on the weekly. Mm-hmm. Now it's every few months, occasionally.
Because
Like,
you ate something.
yeah, because I devoured I had a 5,000 calorie day or something
Yeah.
stupid, and I was like, I ate a lot of fried foods. I realized I think it's a lot of oils.
I think the oils will.
it's-
Me too. I noticed that as well.
Yeah, I think it's oils. If I have an extreme amount of fat, it's fat.
I mean, that makes sense.
Well, I
I feel
think
like it's a diuretic. Or I don't know if it's a diuretic,
Don't a lot
but
of
it
the
makes you
fried foods have more trans fat?
probably.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
Trans fat's the one fucked up fat.
I just
pretty
feel
much.
like if you like 8 spoonfuls of olive oil, it would probably make you poop yourself.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, yeah.
You know
And
what I
that's,
mean?
that's,
So,
Oh
like-
my God.
that's the thing too with everybody pushing the MCTs. Yes, they are a medium chain triglyceride, more readily used for fuel. So you get a lot of the keto zealots or the carnivore zealots or whatever that are kind of pushing the coconut oil, MCT oil stuff to put in coffee. That's your bulletproof coffee kind of
I
thing.
hate that. It's so weird.
But it's a real quick trip to the spray paint in the toilet
Yeah.
at that point too. You're taking in too
so
much
we talk
MCTs.
about. You just talked about how like a stomach can adapt. Can you adapt to that?
When did I talk about stomach adapting?
we were not on air.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. We talk a lot
We
to
talk
each
a
other.
lot,
Yeah,
yeah.
But
before
I mean,
the
the short answer to that is, it's to catch everybody up. We're discussing again because I do this all the time. We discuss fiber intake, gut microbiome. Ideally, you want a variety of fibers so that your body takes each one of those fibers, fiber types, ferments in the system, produces your probiotics, your beneficial gut bacteria. When you have a good gut microbiome full of different types of flora, you're less susceptible to sickness, you're less susceptible to viruses, bacteria, you process foods more readily and easily, and you have less stomach upset as far as that goes. So the short answer to your question is it's still going to be the dose makes the poison, essentially. So I feel like that's that lower level
Probably
for you.
wouldn't hurt you to digest. Like, have you had a better gut microbiome? You probably could handle more or something.
More.
but-
So your lower level where you would normally get stomach upset and be rushing to the bathroom would probably be raised. But there's still going to be a level where taking
Don't
in
chug
that
olive oil
much oil and
regardless.
such is going to jack you up.
Yo,
Yeah.
how many calories by just chugging
Chugging
olive
oil?
oil?
Yeah, I don't know.
Significant
Oil.
amount. But
Yeah.
that's the same discussion we have for the cooking sprays. It's a whole can full of oil,
Yeah.
but it's 0 calories.
Yeah.
No.
It's magic.
Yeah, no.
I have a question.
No,
so
no.
I ate a bunch of food this past weekend, and I do this every once in a while when I like just have a good weekend where I
Yeah.
I'm not someone who eats super clean, guys. Like every day I'm eating Quest chips, I eat animal crackers. Like I'm not just eating chicken and broccoli because that's boring and I won't do it.
Right.
However, if I eat and I don't know if I eat a bunch of salt or if it's a bunch of oil or if it's like a bunch of, I don't know. But when I eat what I would consider like more poorly, my skin hurts almost. It's
Interesting.
Like, it's like the top. I can feel fine today because I didn't eat like shit yesterday. But like, after a couple of days of eating
say,
like shit, I don't know how to
happens-
say. It's like my skin hurts. It feels like the top layer, and I don't know if it's like I'm just holding a bunch of water.
That's probably
from
what it
the
is.
Salt.
Yeah.
But like, I just don't like the way that feels.
Yeah.
It's really annoying.
I mean, that's the funny thing is we all like how we feel while we're having these mouthgasms of food, but
Ugh.
it's the day after that you're having the after effects. And a lot of people won't attribute the discomfort to that meal and that eating the day prior.
Yeah.
This upcoming day, they're like, I don't understand why I feel like shit. I had a good breakfast. I had a ultra clean salad for lunch. Like, why is my stomach upset?
I feel
well,
like-
the fact is that it takes people anywhere from 18 to 72 hours
to
to
get
process the meal that they had. So if a day or two goes by where you feel like you've been eating clean, it's not what you're doing now. You need to have that knowledge on board that you were still passing some of the shitty things that,
I ate
that
a lot
kind
of bad
affected the
food.
body.
I ate a lot of like chips. And we had big meals with like a lot of
Yeah.
spice also, which is ballsy.
Oh, I love
a lot of
spice.
oil. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
And also we got these soft top, the double chocolate chocolate
Oh, yeah, those
chocolate
are good.
chips off. Man,
That's my second fave.
man, they just smell amazing.
Still
From where?
the pumpkin chocolate chip ones are still my jam.
Kroger.
Yeah, Kroger
K.
has the soft
Roger.
top cookies.
Oh,
Write
they're
that
so
down.
good. They're just.
I don't really get anything out of the bakery at
It's
Kroger.
danger to go to the bakery.
You don't
'cause it
need to get anything
smells
out of the
amazing
bakery at
over
Kroger
there.
except soft top cookies.
Yeah, so I don't get anything out of the bakery at Kroger because I've been disappointed by their bakery stuff. Like,
Yeah, but
I'm
you
like,
won't be
eh.
if you get the soft top cookies.
I just go to Publix because
Publix has
everything
dope
out
bakery
of
Publix
their
does. Have you
bakery-
gotten the Publix the cinnamon roll cake thing?
Oh, it sounds
No,
good.
because I don't really dig cinnamon
Bruh,
rolls.
you will if you get
You
those.
are-
That's because you've had the wrong ones.
No, because it's not worth it for me for how much, like the amount of calories.
Well, no, it's not about the calories.
I did a
Because
post
I
on
don't- but I
those
don't-
specific
It's
cinnamon
not
rolls, and they
worth
have
it to
zero.
me either.
If you break them down into
They're
3,000
still delicious.
servings.
It was literally 3,000 servings.
That's what you had to
Jesus.
break it down to?
No, I think it was 1,000. Yeah, it was 1,000 servings. There were 3 calories per serving, so it equals 0.
Okay.
Because
Just
of
rounding
math
down
and
to the
stuff.
0 to 0.
Anything under 5, you don't have to list that it has calories on the
packaging?
nutrition label.
Perfect.
So yes, 3 calories per
1,000.
serving, 0 calories. Ipso facto, 3,000 plus calories worth of cinnamon rolls, 0 calories
I
now.
like that.
0 calories.
Zero.
Yeah, so I don't really do cinnamon rolls. What I do there all the time though is the tiramisu.
You have talked about
Yeah,
this
I haven't
tiramisu.
tried that there.
I'm
yet.
not. I like
Yeah.
tiramisu, but I would eat a cinnamon roll before tiramisu.
Samesies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even like coffee. I hate coffee. I don't drink coffee. I don't
That
like
is
it.
shameful.
It is.
And
it really is.
but tiramisu, I don't know what is like one of my
you know,
favorite things.
coffee
How do you feel
has
about coffee
a
ice cream?
tremendous amount of
I don't
benefits
think
to it
I've
as
ever
well.
had it 'cause I didn't
Oh, it's
really
so good.
wanna do it.
Coffee will lower your risk of prostate cancer.
Coffee will make your testosterone bigger and your dick larger.
Absolutely.
You should drink it.
There are instant penis
I've
enlarging.
learned that is motivational for Victor.
It
so. Just gonna tell him that about everything.
One time. I talk about it one time on the podcast.
The penis enlargement only works if you pour the coffee on it.
while it's
Hot.
boiling hot.
Hot.
Direct
coffee.
injection. Yeah.
We
You're
are
welcome,
off
Victor.
the rails.
The enlargement comes from swelling due to the burn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually just a blister. But you're welcome.
But your penis heals back stronger.
Yeah.
Progressive overload in all things.
In all things. You're welcome,
gosh.
Victor. We are full of life hacks.
Yeah,
That's right.
That is such a good life
Follow
hack.
most of them. Don't
If you're
follow
listening
some.
and you try that life hack, please don't blame us. This
Please
is
do not. That's
don't
a
do that.
disclaimer,
This
not a
is
doctor.
Disclaimer, not a doctor,
doctors,
not
this is
real
not-
medical advice.
Smarter than doctors in some areas and not in many.
Yeah.
not in
Most. Hot mess.
Oh my gosh.
So what did you guys eat this weekend?
Yeah, so I was going to say it's just food in general. Like, I also want to come into this and say like about where we're talking about all the food stuff. We figured we'd dive into food. We talk about food so often, we don't really
It's
have
such
a
an
full
important part of
conversation on
life
just
in
food.
all honesty. So
And eat what you have access to as well. Like
Yeah.
that's what's like. There's so many of us out there that just don't have financial access to some of these. Like the organic-y other stuff is expensive. We
Meat's
talked about that
expensive.
stuff. Meat is expensive.
Yep.
There are other options. Eat what you can and have access to. And there's awesome ways to lower your meat costs.
Yeah.
Buy it in bulk and learn. Chris and I were just talking, and Mike and I, the three of us, but we're talking earlier about just I had a gentleman who I had worked for years ago who I was trying to get into music, and he was also a musician, and he said, learn your craft.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand what he meant because I was young and dumb and stupid, but it stuck with me for
Now
some
he's old
reason.
and dumb and stupid.
Yes.
It's different.
Much
get to the
different.
point, dum dum.
But what he really meant and was with it is learn your craft, learn everything about your craft. Well, if you want to eat and you want to be healthy, learn that craft.
Your
of
health should be a
eating health.
craft.
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
And learn the pieces of it. Like I follow this guy on social media, Meat Dad. He goes by. He was a butcher.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't either.
That sounds sexual.
It just makes me
It's
think meat
not,
daddy.
oh my god, you guys
Yeah.
are the worst. So
Like, welcome to the stage.
he was a
Meat daddy.
Oh my god, he was a butcher apparently for like 25 years, and now he goes on how to save money and how to cut up meats. And
that's smart, yeah.
because you can buy you buy steaks that are already cut. They're like $9 to $12 to $13 a pound.
Yeah.
You can buy a big old slab for $4 a pound.
And you've got like multiple ribeye cuts
That
in
has
that
all
one.
of
Yeah.
that stuff.
We should all go in
there.
on a cow. People do
Oh,
that too.
I would love to.
Wait, what?
What?
Yeah,
You can
all-
buy a whole cow.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
you can buy
You
a
can buy
whole,
quarter,
a whole
half, whole
butchered
cow. Yeah.
basically, and so you can like go in on that with your homies, or I guess by yourself if you're feeling very hungry.
If you're, me.
yeah, if you're Mike. Yeah, and you keep it frozen.
I don't eat a lot of red meat. How much red meat do you guys eat?
I don't
Not
do.
a lot,
I don't do
no.
a lot of red meat.
So I guess we shouldn't buy a
Hardly
cow.
ever.
So
you guys
that's
want to
why-
go in on
well-
a chicken?
Well, hold on.
One chicken, we'll split it.
I mean, you could do leaner red meats too, but here's my hack.
Not if you get the whole cow. That's all the meats are in that cow.
Right, but then you split that up over months. So here's my hack for saving money on meat.
Buy a
is-
pig.
Good idea. I think
I'm in
that's a
on
better
a pig.
idea. We'll
Yo,
go in
have
on
you
a
ever had
pig.
roast pig on like a spit?
Dude, I'm a Cuban. We have that shit every year.
So you
that's
don't
fair.
want to know my hack?
Yeah,
Is
I
that
do.
where we're
Were you
at?
talking again? Sorry, Mike. Are you talking? There's
No,
words?
no pig, idiots. No, there's a shit ton of people on Marketplace selling deep freezers. You spend $100.
Wondering who was going to say pigs.
No. There's hundreds of pigs on Marketplace.
I see them all the time.
So you get a deep freezer on there that's within your price range, and then anytime you go grocery shopping, you buy the meat that is on sale. You
that
can
is
buy
smart.
bulk meat that's on sale. You don't have to worry about eating it right away. It goes right in the deep freezer.
That is such a great thing in thought. So I have a deep freezer.
It's also
Mine's full of
it's
shit.
also in practice. What's happening right now?
let me explain, because I'm about to drop an egg of knowledge on your head.
I love it. I love it.
Because I am one of those people who has a deep freezer, and I thought I was going to be one of those people who buys it in bulk, and I'm going to save so much money. I have stuff in that deep freezer from when I first bought that
too.
deep freezer.
I have 2 deep freezers. They're full of meat, and I never remember to thaw it.
All right,
yes.
well, you have to be a
So-
little disciplined about it, people.
But that's
Yeah.
what and that's the reality that I kind of want to get to people. Like, there are all these great things, and we do talk about these quote unquote life hacks and these things that you can save money, but it all requires you to just do the thing.
Yeah.
And I understand life happens, and that's my biggest problem with the deep freezer is like, well, shit, I want to make dinner tonight and it's frozen. And I forgot to pull it out, because you have to think a day in advance. And my life is so chaotic most of the time. I've done it where I've pulled meat out, being like, for the next day, and then we end up going out to eat because something happened and we have to just do something
Yep.
quick. And I'm like, well, shit. Now I throw it in the fridge, and then I forget about it because we're busy these next couple days.
Yeah.
Well, got to throw that away. Thank God I froze that.
I can't even get my life together enough to make my creamy ice cream the day before. You're like,
Yo,
God
I'm
damn it.
so bad at that too.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I feel you. I have that same problem.
yeah,
Aaron's-
I don't throw meat away. That's just not an issue for me.
yeah. It's just I gotta
yeah,
be better.
I've
But
had
I also
stuff-
have a stand-up deep freezer, so
yeah,
it's
that
easier
makes
to
it
kind of see and
easier.
get to things.
I was
you
just
know
about
what you
to say
have.
that. So at the bar, we have multiple freezers at the bar. We have a lot of food. So we switched one of the freezers to a stand-up freezer. And I'm like, man, this is so much easier to see
Yeah.
what the fuck is in here. So
Yeah,
No,
guess that does
I
make a
invested in mine a
difference.
while back when I did buy into one of those. They have the companies that will once a month give you a whole shipment of
Yeah, like
a
Omaha
variety.
steaks or
yeah, it was.
whatever,
I
yeah.
forget which one it was, but it's like all organic
Butcher Box.
meats and
Butcher Box
veggies
is
and things
one.
like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
And I bought the freezer through them, which was the most expensive way to do it. But I made payments on it, so when I was finally paid off, I was super excited. So this one it'll keep your food cold without power for
Is
up to
that the black
72
one in there?
hours. Yeah, it's the one I painted black with chalk paint.
oh, he's right. I've drawn on it.
Yeah.
I remember now.
So I did that so you can make that's where the grocery list goes.
Yeah.
It's in chalk paint on the side of the deep freezer, and it just looks a little nicer in that room because it's in the corner of my gym. So painting it black just sort of fits everything in a little bit better.
The aesthetic, the
Yeah.
dark side.
I'm all about the aesthetic. Yeah.
That is a good hack. And if you're like someone who really is pinching pennies, I guarantee that you're going to be better about that.
Yeah,
Yes.
if it's
We are.
like-
Yes.
and not that I don't want to make it sound like, well, money doesn't matter to me or to Chrissy. Like,
No.
it does
No.
still matter. to
Yeah.
us.
But the
We
cost
just-
of
My
food
time
for
is
you
also
is
money
less,
at this point. you
Yeah,
know?
we're just busy, and
Yeah.
I mean, my busy is different than your busy. You're busy because you're running a much more time demanding business than I run.
Yeah.
My time demanding business is practicing, and I can kind of do that as I need to. But
You also have like 2 kids, and they have
what I was
things.
gonna
That's
say.
so
I have
true.
kids.
And mine is playing video games and working out in my home gym and
Yeah,
sitting in
I
my new
understand.
massage
That's-
chair,
yeah.
which is a big hand-me-down
Mike's like,
massage chair.
"Kara,
I am
pull
sold
out
on
the
that
chicken."
thing. I am sold.
I can't.
On
I'm in the
massage
middle of
chairs.
a level. That's what you should use the kids for. Hold them upside down, dip them into the deep freezer, make him get the stuff from the bottom like a crane. You're welcome.
That's a smart
Before
move.
they get too big,
Yeah.
you know?
The meat thing, especially if you
Just
buy
toss them
bulk,
into the deep freezer. If you can't get it out, you're staying here.
Jesus.
It's like an ice bath.
That's right. It's cold therapy.
Yeah,
It's
it's just cold
cryotherapy.
therapy.
Cryotherapy.
For the wee ones.
Just pull them out before they're completely frozen.
We
That's
could
all.
try a cryotherapy daycare. Have you seen this? They have like gyms where it's like a whole thing that you walk into.
You guys are never watching my children.
Yeah,
Ever.
they're way
Never.
easier to catch when they're cold. What was that?
I was watching a video. It was like a gym, and they had like a really fancy like cryotherapy.
It's the stand-up ones.
Yeah,
Have you
yeah,
ever been in one of those?
No, I've never.
It's actually
awful.
not as bad as the water.
because it's not.
cold
I'm not
comes.
in water. It's just
Correct.
air that's cold.
So, but it's like it gets down to like negative 200 some degrees. They
What?
say. I went in one of those.
How about dying when I walk
You have
into
to
a
wear
walk-in
booties?
at work? They give you hand
They
covers.
give you hand things. I
And
don't
booties.
remember if booties or not.
So the
Probably.
reason I say that is because, again, I'm going to go to sports because I'm the sports person here. You guys don't.
Oh
care
yeah,
two
none of us are
craps.
sporty.
Yeah, we don't know how to play sports. I played.
Oh,
sports
you
as
mean
a
not
kid.
watching
playing sport,
sports?
yes.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, you're definitely
Yeah,
that
no,
guy.
that's
Yeah, you are way more. Just for clarification, both of you are way more athletic than I am. So if it goes to competing in sports, I would lose. But I'm the one who watches them and can.
He'll
speak
know the
of
rules
them.
at least.
Yes,
for the sports that
I'll
we're
know.
playing.
Are we talking
Yeah.
about the World Olympics again? The
Yeah,
World
that was
Olympics?
awesome.
Dude. I still think that's awesome. So anyway, it was football. There was a very prominent football player, Antonio Brown, who had to take time off because he had burns on his feet from going into a cryo
Oh, no.
thing and did not wear the
Yeah.
booties.
Gotta wear the
apparently.
booties.
Because it
And
is.
ended
It's-
up
they-
needing-
Yeah, your
they-
body is going to not send
Yeah.
blood to your toes at that point. You're cold. It's going to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I first went to it, the guy was trying to tell me I had to go in at level 1. I'm like, wait, how many levels are there? He was
Yeah,
like,
how many
3.
levels
I was
are
like, I'll
there?
take level 3, please. He was like, this is your first time doing this? I was like, stand by. I've been doing the whole Wim Hof thing for a while now. He was like, oh, you know Wim Hof. All right, level 3 it is. I'm like, cool,
Oh, that's
man.
the key word? Okay, heard.
I kept waiting for it to get difficult. I tell you, water is way tougher than those stand-up dry
Why do you think that is?
cryos. Because the water has such
touching
close
your
contact
skin.
with your skin. You're not just in this enclosed space for a few minutes. And the water, like I don't know, this to me, and this
you
is just
breathe
me.
in that thing?
This is just me speculating. Yeah, you can breathe
Well,
because
those-
your head is above it.
Oh, I was like, I know. I lived in Pennsylvania where it gets in the negatives, and
So the one that I watched, he just like walked into this thing. It looked like a shower almost, like a door.
And it was just the enclosed room. He didn't get into an enclosed thing after that.
I don't think so.
Because
I
that
don't know. I
may
couldn't
have
really
been
see
just
that
keeping
well.
it cold in the room so he could then get into the thing. I don't know. I'd have to see that.
Yeah,
one.
they
And
didn't
maybe
really
they-
show me inside of it. So
And
I
maybe
actually
that
don't know.
advanced. I've also seen where people have like a face mask on to go into those as well.
that does not sound fun at all.
It was all right. It was just all right.
How
So
long were you in there?
3 minutes.
Okay.
It's
I really
not
wanna
very
try that.
long. That's all they let you
I
stay
think
in
I'm
there
gonna
for.
I
suck it
about
up
die
and
every
buy
time
a
I walk
regular
into the
tub.
walk-in fridge at work. It's
Do
not
you
even
do
a
the cold
freezer.
therapy?
No,
No.
I don't. You know what? I'm here for all the fitness things, and I draw the line at being cold. I'm cold enough as it is in my life. I'm freezing everywhere I go.
Do you think that would help your hip though?
I don't know. I would go into hip deep. Does that count?
It does.
Okay. Yeah. And leave the rest of me out of it.
With winter coats. And
Probably with my feet out, too. Just put my butt in there.
my butt.
Very well. For my next cold tub, I'll build a contraption.
Could you?
This is Chrissy's butt contraption.
It just holds her butt. Here. Yeah, everyone's welcome.
Just sit on an ice cube or something, you know?
I love cryotherapy. I hate the front end. If it's been a while since I've done it,
Like
the-
getting your front end cold? Yeah, I would
Yeah.
hate
well, that
getting my
too.
front end
You
cold.
got to get in
too.
quick.
Yeah.
No, but like, prior to getting in, if it's been a while since I've done it, like the anxiety goes up,
Yeah.
heart rate goes up, your breathing goes up. You're like, this is gonna suck.
My
so-
heart rate is going
This
up
is
right
gonna
now.
suck so
Just thinking
bad.
And I
about
just
it?
thought about the front end getting cold
Yeah.
in the tub.
And once you know that the first 40 to 60 seconds that you're in is
That's
gonna
long.
Yeah.
it goes by pretty quick because you literally get in and you just focus on your breath and not shivering, and it's very meditative. So one, it's got really
That's
good
true.
systemic
It really
effects.
forces you to just think about yourself in the moment.
It's just breathing. Like
You're
you
like,
were
I'm
just
surviving.
breathing. And after that minute, it evens out. And then this is where I tell people, like, don't have a
For
time
everybody or for you?
No, for everybody. It will even out because you've gotten
I've
past the
done
fight or
the
flight.
cryo thing. I've gotten in the tub. I did it many times as Michael's mean and made me. And he's right. The beginning really, really sucks. But after like the first minute, it's not as bad.
No. And this is crucial for people trying to get in it. I've heard of people getting in. They're like, I got to do 10 minutes. I got to do 15 minutes.
Fuck that. I would
Fuck that
die.
shit. All you have to do is get through the first minute because then you exit fight or flight. And now you're just kind of in that zone. So as soon as you start to get uncomfortable beyond that minute, just get out. And then shoot to do a little bit longer kind of every time you go in. It's the same premise of progressive overload. But because I've done that, I don't get cold as easily in winter. I'm still usually walking around in a t-shirt. So
That's
I
true.
upgrade from tank tops to t-shirts. But if I put on a sweater, I'm sweating my ass off in dead winter. And so it kind of drives me nuts sometimes. You wear some nice sleeves out and I'm like, I got to pop these off. But it's just, it trains your vascular system because your vascular system operates as a muscle. Your veins and arteries and stuff, they constrict it, they dilate, and it's the muscles of those that
feel
you're
like I have the
training to operate more
opposite
efficient.
Efficiency, and then like we were all walking around downtown Savannah this past weekend, and everyone was dying of heat stroke, and I was like, I'm like very comfortable. I'm not sweating. I'm like really quite happy.
I'm
And
sure.
everyone else
I
is
mean,
dying.
if it works one way, I'm sure it's got to work the other way.
way.
It does. I mean, it's adaptation. It's the adaptation process. So I mean, spending for the last movie I did, the last week we're on set, I'm in layers of clothes, black tactical clothes.
Sounds hot. It's
in
been
the
so
sun,
hot here.
in the sun for daylight, 12 hours a pop, running around, actively doing shit. So going outside now is absolutely nothing for me. But if it's 74 degrees in the house, I'm freezing ass cold.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it was such
It
a
has been
different
very,
change from
very
going
hot
90-something degrees, sweating my ass out, being forced out in it, to just
Are
being
you still
inside.
doing the cold tub though now?
My cold tub is out of commission because I took it off the back deck when I tore the deck
so
down,
then you
okay.
and now it's just sort of rusted out and shit. And it was too big to have in the house like I
It
wanted.
was a big deep freezer.
It was a big deep freezer. So that one was just under 24 cubic feet. I'm going to get a 16 cubic foot one,
Okay.
which will fit my size more. Have it inside, have a pan there.
It was cool because like two of
Linex
us
on
could
the inside,
easily get
pump.
into it. It was
Yeah.
like big.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to just suck because I don't want to do that. I don't want to invest into a freezer and do all that or buy a cold tub. I saw somebody locally. I'm always on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
Somebody locally is selling a like cryo
Custom made.
tub. It's like
Yeah.
$6,000 or something
Oh.
like that.
I saw one of those on Marketplace too. You could literally buying like the Rubbermaid tubs, building the box frame around it, getting the insulation inside, and then drilling in and putting a pump in. You could build that entire setup that guy's selling for $5,000 with lumber.
This
and
wasn't
with
rubber. This was
I'm
steel,
just saying, you
stainless
can get
steel.
steel, you can get rubber, but it's just a tub at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
The Rubbermaid will last long. You don't have to worry about rusting issues, and it's the same thing. You could build that whole thing with even the cost of lumber these days, nice and custom like that, for about $400, and that's including the pump, the ozonator if you want one, the UV, just to kind of pull
I think
particulates out.
I'm really tempted to because there's that ice machine that's like not that expensive. You can get like 20 pounds of ice.
Oh yeah, the
for-
ice dispenser machine.
Yeah, for $2. I'm really tempted to just. I think I'm going to buy just a tub and then just fill it up and do the
Get in
cryo
it.
thing. Not even every day.
But bear in mind, you're going to need at least 5 of those 20-pound bags to make that happen.
okay.
Yeah.
It's $10.
It's $10, and you start to enjoy it, and you're doing 2 or 3 of those a week, and you've been doing it for a year. So like what
The start to enjoy it is
That's
the
cute.
part. Yeah, that's
Cute.
Yeah, you're,
That's so
you're not
cute.
sold on it, but you will. You'll
And if
never
I
really
am-
enjoy the getting in
But here's
position.
the deal: is and maybe that happens, and then at that point, when I'm like, okay, now
Then
I
it's
know
worth
I'm
the
in it.
investment, yeah.
Now I'll spend the money to buy something. That's
yeah,
worth
I mean, and that's
investing.
fine. That's ultimately what
That's why I
what
was like,
did.
let me try yours, but you decided to tear yours apart, so I cannot try yours.
I
do
know.
not know anybody else with the cold tub. Maybe Chrissy, can I just come to the store or to the bar and sit in your cold
In my
the,
trough?
in the
I'll-
walk-in?
Yeah,
in
come
the
on.
walk-in.
I'll
for-
have
Apparently
another
it's not
one probably
cold
within the
enough,
next couple months. I'm just trying to find a decent deal.
Wait,
on
the
a-
walk-in's not cold enough?
No.
It's a fridge. It's not a
fridge.
freezer, and I don't think it's cold. It's supposed to.
not
How cold
cold
is it supposed to be?
Well, anything below 60 degrees is going to
it's cold enough.
I was like,
vasoconstrict
wait a minute.
in water
Oh,
because your body's going to do a
yeah.
good enough
You said
job
the
of
guy
fighting
walked
that
into
off.
this thing was like negative 200 or something.
And I thought the water was significantly worse on the cold front. Yeah.
It's not negative 200. I can tell you that.
So I generally, if it's been a while for me, I start my cold plunge at 52 degrees, and then I go down from there as soon as I can hit 15 to 20 minutes for a good week. Then I'll drop it another.
You could
couple
put a
degrees.
tub of water in my walk-in. Maybe that would work.
Because
Not a lot of room in there, but it could work.
I mean, I'll have another whole system, but it'll be nice. It'll be inside, and I'll have that built within the next probably month or two. I just got to find the right fridge, and then buying the parts beyond the fridge is like $100 worth of parts.
Interesting.
Building a fridge or freezer?
Cold tub, chest deep freezer. Yeah,
Building a I've seen videos online about that. So you put like a thermometer and stuff.
I have it.
Thermometer.
It's like a $35 Inkbird that has a wire and a little metal tip, and it goes inside.
Inkbird?
That's the brand.
Oh,
So
I was like,
it's
what's
digital.
the
You
name?
It's
set
a
you
thermostat.
set the temp.
You tell it to hold this temperature.
You plug
and
that
it'll
into
turn
the
coil
wall.
on and off.
Yeah, you plug that into the wall, then you plug the deep freezer into the Inkbird, and the thermostat it has in the bottom. So as soon as the temperature in the water hits a certain degree, the Inkbird will turn on the chest deep freezer. So it's not running all the time. It runs just enough to keep it within that.
That's what we did
So what do
too.
you have to do to prep a freezer for that? Because I'm assuming they're not designed for that.
No, they're not quite designed for that. So you can get the aluminum or metal line ones where you open it up, or you can get the ones that are white in the middle that have the enamel. I like the white and the enamel because it takes less prep work. You don't have to worry as much about rust on the front end, and it's a little bit stronger. And at that point, then you can either PC11 or JB water weld the seams just for increased integrity. Then you buy something called Pond Shield, and then you do a few coats of that on the inside. And then that'll keep you a nice layer that's going to be completely waterproof and nothing will get out.
Is that like I'm
into the,
flex sealing the inside?
Kind of.
Yeah, okay.
It's similar to that, but it's non-toxic. None of that stuff will leach into the water. And the other way I like, which it's a little more expensive, and I'll have to decide whether or not I want to do it, is you can take it to a Line-X shop.
I was just going to say,
Oh,
can you
cool.
Rhino line
Yes.
that thing?
Yeah.
So Rhino Line I don't know about as far as being tested, but the DIY cold plunge group that I was on Facebook, the guy has a whole list of everything that's been used for years now. You can take it to a Line-X shop, have them Line-X it with the XS300 or whatever. I think that's the name of the stuff. They'll prep it, they'll do it, but that can be anywhere from $400 to $800 for them to do that. But then it's just done. And then you buy a typical water pump and filtration system that you would use for like a pool or a hot tub that you can get for like $80 to $100. You can get an ozonator. I don't need an ozonator because I had nothing in mine, and the water stayed fine for like the better part of a month.
Dum over here wants to know what an ozone.
It's just gonna basically treat the water essentially, as opposed to pouring a bunch of chlorine in there. An ozonator with filtration system will just purify.
It's just a filtration.
I don't know what an ozone.
I'm more worried about the particulate
Yeah, I
filter,
was like,
maybe
does it
some UV. A
put some
UV
ozone
filter I'll
into
put in
it?
there.
Like, what's
it is.
happening?
It's putting ozone in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
An
of the science and
ozonator.
shit. But it'll have like on the shelf, I'll have like the pump set up. I'll have some PVC running out so it keeps the water flowing, pulls most of the particulate out, and it just keeps it a little bit cleaner longer. And then I'll run like a hose that I can through the window because that's where I'll have it at. And then you can just siphon the water out when I need to change it since it'll be inside, and then fill it up again and get after it.
You should have a pet something that you keep in your. I guess it's
Yeah,
too
I have a
cold.
floating polar bear thermostat.
Oh, what's his name?
Damn it.
That's his name. Damn it.
Yeah, it is now.
Damn it. It is now. Damn it. How's
He
damn
yells it every time he gets in.
Hey,
it's
damn
cold.
it, getting in again.
Damn it. Well, that's interesting, Michael.
Yeah, so I'm building a sauna in the gym. I'm
Sauna?
gonna build the cold plunge
So you go right
setup.
from one to the other, sauna to the cold tub to back to the sauna to warm
Eventually,
back up. Maybe that's what you need, Chrissy. You can do the cold tub and then dive into the
You
sauna.
get right
Catch
in.
me in the fucking
What I
sauna
like
after
to
the
do
cold
is
tub
get
for
out of the
sure.
cold tub and let my body warm itself up a bit, but then I will end up in the sauna too because
The
I like
best
both.
So
thing-
your bones don't crack from being
Maybe.
going from one temperature to the
The
other.
best
I
thing
like
about the
to
cold
eke out
tub
the benefit from both.
was getting in the sun after. The sunlight after being in the
yes.
cold tub was amazing.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was. That was the best part.
And so that for me, I would find more time to be meditative. Like I would just sit in the grass in the sun or on a towel and just close my eyes and fucking.
Do you meditate, Michael?
I've been out of the habit, but I did during those times because it got me right there in the zone for
And
it.
is that something you would maybe recommend to people?
100%.
How much meditation time do you feel like people
This
should
is
have?
one of my favorite books I had ever read was True Meditation by Adyashanti or something like that. I think that was his name. And he
Shanti,
was
isn't that a singer?
a monk for like decades or whatever. But he would discuss how it was so difficult for him to shut off his mind to meditate, and eventually he could force himself to do it for like 2, 3, 4 hours, whatever. But as soon as he was done meditating, it all came swimming back. And so he didn't enjoy the process of forcing the meditation. So for me, all things progressive overload for all things. So if sit down in a quiet space, close your eyes, and just let your meditation be what it is. If you are done sitting there in a minute and a half, so be it. But if you create this consistent habit, you'll find that there are going to be days where you just go 20, 30 minutes, and it's just, you have that clarity. Now, if you find your mind wandering, let it wander. But then kind of bring it back to the breath. Just focus on deep, deep breathing, which most people don't do in general. Really, really oxygenating your body, sitting there with the moment. Listen to just kind of the excess sounds that are going on around you, sounds you don't generally pay attention to. Feel the pulse in your body that just kind of shakes you a little bit. Just sit in the moment and let it be what it is. Don't force anything. Don't force the time. Don't force what the actual practice is.
Okay. And do you feel like that is like restorative as far as like recovery?
I do.
Okay.
I really do. And mostly with the breathing, and a lot of people, it's way easy to just really work the body. They can wrap their heads around
good
that.
natural breathing, I feel
No.
like
No,
we
they
should
do
be
not.
doing very more like deep belly breathing.
Learning to
naturally.
belly breathe, I've found a lot of people don't know how to bring the breath down, use the diaphragm, and fill up your stomach first and then go into your chest. Because you're not literally putting air in your stomach, but it's the mindset where if you get the diaphragm really, really engaged. And that's how I breathe for everything.
Yeah, once you learn how to do it, it kind of does do it. So I find that a lot, even with singers, because that's how you're taught to breathe. But a lot of people, everybody and their brother thinks they're a singer. I can't tell you. I've literally had people come up to me at gigs and tell me that they can sing better than I can. I'm like, congratulations.
Are you serious?
Bro.
Oh my
Really?
God.
I had, so
It's like, well, then go do it for money then.
yeah, that's essentially what my response is. And it's hard not to be snarky when somebody comes up and says something like that. But I've had somebody walk up to me in the middle of a gig. I just played a song, and they come up, they're like, I could do that song better than you. And I was like, cool.
Cool, man.
Are you getting paid tonight?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I am, right? Oh, yeah, okay. Thanks, man. I appreciate your input.
Yeah.
Deuces. And, like, that's fine. And he may be right. Like, he could do that song better than me. Cool.
But you go get paid to do it. Like,
And I
this is my
play a
job.
lot of songs. And I'm constantly, like, I also don't give... Newsflash, I also don't give 100% for every single song every single time. I play 6-7 times a week.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard. It's a grind. There's in everything.
Well,
Like,
it's a fucking
your day
job.
Yeah, I was gonna say your day job. If you go work 9 to 5 every day, do you give 100% every hour of every
I feel
day?
like when I work 9 to 5, I actually work like 2 hours a day. I just fucked around for all the other hours.
Yeah, and that's
I think this is big misconception, and both for acting and for singing and for performance arts, whatever. People don't think you've made it or you're a professional unless you're famous as shit. Well, the fact is, if you are making a living via acting, singing, or anything performing, you're a professional.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what you do.
You've made
so
it.
you don't have to
Yeah.
go out there and literally be the best in the world, but I am damn good, and I'm good enough to make a living at it.
That's what that
it.
term "made it" just in general kind of bugged me because that's exactly that. Like people be like, "Oh, do you ever think you'll make it?" I was like, "I did make it.
make it.
I'm
I
paying my
literally make a
mortgage
living
with
doing
music.
this.
Like
Yeah.
I've made it." But yeah, to go back to my initial point on that was, there's everybody thinks they can sing. Everybody thinks they're a singer. Karaoke has proven that year
Yeah,
time and
no
time
kidding.
again.
It's also proven they're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
But nobody knows
Very
how to
publicly.
breathe properly, and that's a big part of singing. And that's how you create longevity in your voice. There's so much more to it.
It's so
than
annoying
that,
all
but
the
that is a big
things
part
that
of
like
it.
we don't naturally really do correctly.
Yeah.
You know, like not just your posture. Now we're like breathing. One
Yeah.
thing
Such
that
a
you
simple
do
thing,
without
yeah.
like having to think, it's like, well, you're gonna tell me I'm blinking wrong next.
And
you
it's
know?
not necessarily that it's that you don't know how to do it. It's just there's a better, stronger way to do it.
And I think the
you don't need it if you're not doing these other things.
Oh,
But I
I
feel like you
disagree.
do need it.
You
Like, I
still
think-
need to be oxygenated well, and that's why I think the people who are the most active do live longer and are healthier and in better shape because they are forced to take deeper breaths the more active you are. But I'll still even find myself, if I'm sitting still on the couch for too long or in one place for too long, I'm like, oh shit, I'm breathing real shallow right now.
I think, though, we also, as a culture and society, have trained that breathing out of us because I have a problem with authority in general. That included my mom when I was a child. I would not listen to anything. But everybody was always like, "You're so loud. Be quiet. Be quiet." How many times were you, as a kid, told to
Yeah.
be quiet? Well,
Oh,
you're louder.
millions. I had ADHD.
Millions.
But you're louder because a lot of kids breathe properly. They breathe from the diaphragm. And so you're getting that extra bolt. Like, there's a big difference in even sound. When we're talking on the pod, I have to sometimes, because I slouch and stuff, have to change how I'm sitting and
Right.
to make sure I breathe properly because it's not as secondary as it should
Should be.
as
It's
should
not as
be.
natural as it should
Yeah.
be.
And it was, I try to catch myself with my kids all the time. So I'm always telling them to be quiet, but I'm like, man, I'm going to train this right out of them.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you breathe better since you've lost weight? I only ask this because I'm just thinking, is it harder to belly breathe? Is it harder to get a full breath if you're overweight?
No, I disagree.
I'm just wondering.
The reason I say
think
that
it
is
is.
because, okay, hold on.
But you say yours, and I'll tell you mine because I don't know
I mean,
for a
you're
fact.
wrong,
I haven't seen.
but
a
I'll tell you mine.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But there are, like, Pavarotti is not a small man. He's obese, but he's the,
Is he a
the
singer?
support. Yes.
That's different.
He
Because that guy is trained to
He's
breathe.
trained
I'm
that
talking
muscle.
about just like a general
Yeah.
person who doesn't know how to breathe. Who's a breathe.
Like,
breathe.
as
you know,
if-
like if you're a singer, that's different. I feel like
Well,
because
you could
But
think
I
of-
am a singer,
you
and I
can-
was a singer prior to losing the weight.
So
and
that
not
might
yeah,
not-
so,
losing
it
it.
that's,
might be
maybe
a
you're not a
non-issue
good
for you.
Maybe
not a
I'm
good
not a
option.
good
You
client.
could think of
for that.
Pavarotti as progressively overloading his lungs and diaphragm if he's pushing against more resistance as he got bigger and bigger and bigger.
What I did have an issue with, so this is one of my problems, and part of why I gained a bunch of weight is as a singer. Because I wasn't regularly exercising, when I did exercise, it messed up my singing because
Your diaphragm is exhausted from having to give you more air.
sucking air.
And-
Yeah.
also like in my mouth and my vocal cords, like I was
you're just
I
breathing
just
in.
had issues. Like I couldn't, like I was either like there was like phlegmier or whatever. Like I just had issues. I had voice lessons in college, and I remember I was, I mean, the beginning of college I was more active than I was a couple years ago, but I still wasn't as active as I had been. And then I had I was an athletic training sports med major, so I had a lifting class and had to do all this. We ran and did all this
Right.
cardio stuff for the class.
Cardio for your lifting class. Idiots.
Gross.
And then I did. I have it's hold on. And then I did. I went to voice lessons, and she was like, "You're useless to me. Go home."
Dang.
Huh?
Because I couldn't do it. She's like, "Oh, you ran today?" She's like, "Yeah, you're no good for me today. Go."
How interesting.
And so in my brain, that clicked. Don't work out, or because I will screw up my voice. Where what it should have been was, I need to start doing this more regularly so that I
doesn't screw up your
doesn't,
voice.
doesn't screw up my voice. But nobody thinks like that.
Nope.
Nobody even prescribes or talks to you, but like that. She didn't say, "Hey, if you're going to start running, you need to start doing this more often so that it has this." Nobody know. They're like, "Don't do that."
Right.
Because
Yeah,
it's
I
messing up
don't
your
know.
voice.
This is just a question that popped into my head, so like I don't have any basis for this. I'm just kind of wondering if there's like a correlation between body weight and your ability to breathe well. I don't know.
I mean,
Sure
there has to
there
be. I mean, think about
is.
the people that start getting out of breath just because they're getting up at that point.
I mean,
Yeah.
You start getting wheezy. But I think it was the last podcast, or maybe just in conversation, we're talking about the scans of the 120-pound woman and the 200 or 300-pound woman.
Yeah.
So all that body fat surrounding organs and shit, too. I mean, it's got to be pressing in on lungs and stuff. It's creating pressure and resistance on the heart itself. I mean, you're adding more resistance, and then draped on top of you. You have more weight to lift just to expand your chest at that point. So it would have to cause some issue.
we have a follower. We've talked about him before, Josh Johansson, local musician out of Savannah. Check him out. He's amazing. But he posted a thing and saying thank you to us because he's lost a bunch of weight. I've seen him. He's lost a ton of weight. He looks fantastic. He had sleep apnea.
Oh, that's right.
Does
For
he not
years.
anymore?
He does not have it
Cool.
anymore. He got
That's
diagnosed
really awesome.
and had to think, and
Because
no
that's
longer
a
has
fucking
to use that
annoying machine that you have to have
Yeah.
and stuff.
He no longer has sleep apnea from losing all the weight and
That's
getting
so
himself in
cool.
the shape. Yeah. So I would assume that, yes, it does make a difference in if you don't concentrate on it. But if you
Yeah.
pay attention to the breathing, you can still breathe
I
properly.
just feel like no one pays
So
attention to
to
their
answer what
breathing
your
except
question was,
for,
for
like,
me personally,
singers, yeah.
I feel like it's the cardio response that I've noticed the difference. So when I was working and training real hard that the first year, I was able to, like, I'm still lifting, but not in the same way that I was.
Right.
Like, as you can see, I have my stuff set up over there. I was doing I'm still trying to rehab my shoulder.
Yeah,
So I've
you
been
should.
doing some like lat pull
that
down
getting a little
type
better?
stuff. It is. And then it's not. Like, I'm feeling strong. I'm like, oh, good. And then I do something like, oh, that hurts. Okay, that's still.
you doing
so
the
I
banded
make sure
stuff at all still,
I'm
or
still
no?
doing the band pull and doing and
No, I mean the W's, the rehab type
yes.
stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
And then I had a couple other things that one of our other followers had messaged that she does PT and stuff and sent me some other workout stuff to help with
Nice.
therapy. So I've done a couple of those too. But I felt stronger, so I wanted to try doing actual like some weight today because my shoulder's feeling a lot better. so I was able to do the weight yesterday. But anyway, I completely now lost track of what I was saying.
Did you
before.
hurt your shoulder again? Like you said, it's improving some ways and
You
it's
said your
not in some
cardio
ways.
is like you feel
Oh,
like
that's what I was saying. The cardio
yeah.
response.
Okay.
So no, I didn't hurt my shoulder again, but I feel it occasionally on
Yeah.
certain things that I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. But with the cardio, like when I was working out heavier and doing, as we've talked about, the supersets, I was getting a much
You
more
get a
cardio
greater
response.
cardiorespiratory response.
I have noticed
yeah.
since I haven't been working out that hard and that intensely that I'm not having the same breathing stamina that I had. So actually, I want to. Maybe we'll do a whole pod on it. Maybe that's what we'll talk about next week. Is how quickly do you lose your cardio as
Response?
opposed to your cardio
I
response?
feel like it's actually faster than I.
And how quickly can you gain it and build it as opposed to, because I know I feel like I've lost a little bit of muscle because haven't been doing as intense, but nowhere near the percentage wise of what I've lost cardio response.
I just played pickleball with some friends, and granted, it was like 110 degrees outside, so I felt like I was dying. But I was like, man, I should do more cardio.
Yeah, like
I'd say just from the brief sprint work that I've done outside for the field.
on your sprint field.
On my sprint field. It's more of a run field right now. I haven't worked myself back up to sprinting. Like I could do the sprints, but I'm still trying to avoid pulling things by going max effort.
Got you.
But that's been a huge help. Now, running around outside and all that gear, I'm like, oh man, I'm really not out of breath right now. Like that, it feels good having done that with minimal work. Like I'm putting it 7 minutes of actual effort out on that field, and I'm out there for about 15 minutes. So it's
All right.
you don't have to do a lot. But to answer the quick question, your cardio is more of a chemical and metabolic change to the body.
I'm going to say hold that though.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I want to talk
next
about
week.
that next time.
Next
right.
week,
I'm going to
let's
come with some
talk-
questions. Guys.
Yeah, let's come up with some
cool.
more cardio. If you guys have any cardio questions, I guess we'll probably have this pod recorded
And we can expand that
prior
to cardio
this pod
versus
coming
weight
out.
training, what
But-
benefits, because you do
Yeah,
get
and
somewhat
how to
of a
like do
cardiorespiratory
both
response from
and
lifting.
whatever.
Yeah, let's talk about some
We're
cardio
talking about
stuff
maximizing it. Well, we're going to talk about it.
and how quickly. Yeah.
All right, Michael.
We'll talk about cardio stuff next week because I had some
just wanna keep
questions about
going.
how like the difference. Like we always talk about strength gains and stuff,
Yeah.
but I feel like cardio and strength are so different. I mean,
They
they're
are.
linked, obviously, but they're just so different. I feel like my cardio response is so much different.
They're
Yeah.
literally not even linked.
Oh, see, I didn't know that shit.
See, we're learning. Next
All right,
time.
next week.
Different pathways. We'll get
Guys,
into
we
it.
appreciate you for listening on another episode. We love you guys. We really appreciate you. If you guys have anything that you want to ask, questions, I just put on our general chat.
If you have
about
a stupid
topics.
topic that you want us to talk about,
I love stupid
Yeah, it doesn't have to
topics.
be even
doesn't
just
have to
fitness
be anything
related.
interesting.
mean,
Before we leave you,
loosely
though, I do
fitness
have one.
related.
Before we leave,
Yeah.
I have a question to ask each of you. So we're not going to do. You don't have a recipe for today, correct?
I do not.
You didn't have to call her out like that.
Yeah,
we
you
could have just
did.
avoided that.
Yeah, Jesus.
Oh, my God.
Whatever. So here's what I want instead. You're on death row.
Oh, this is because I said
You
food
said
is
this earlier.
everything in life.
Right. Lay it
Yeah.
on me.
You're on death row.
Okay.
And we were talking. We started this episode talking about food and how like
That sounds like
let's
us.
not villainize food. It's not like none of it's bad. Like there are just better options. There are things that you can do to help. But like, don't. If you love regular white bread, eat it.
Oh, I love white
Oh,
bread.
I love white bread.
That's the only thing I use for my PB&Js.
Yo, if you love PB and J's, eat
'em.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will. I
It's
just said I will.
So if you're on death row,
Yeah.
since we talk about food and love food all the time, what would your last meal be?
my problem with this question is like I don't know what they feed you in prison.
Who cares?
It doesn't
You
matter.
can
I don't
You can
care.
have whatever you
Are
want.
they feeding me pizza already, or do I miss pizza?
No, you'll get some
anything
pizza
you
in
want.
there.
But if you
Get
have
you some pizza, and it's not going to be good.
See, I don't know. Maybe
yeah,
I
but would it
want
be pizza from a specific place?
right.
Like, what would be your, or that question or this question?
Let's
I
pretend
like
they're just
this one.
feeding you gruel.
Cruel.
And
Okay. that
go
makes
from,
it easier.
Go from there.
Nobody slept. Or if you could eat one thing and you could only eat one thing forever, and like you can't
wow.
cheese out and just
All
say
right.
pizza because I can get different toppings. It has to be a specific type of
Okay.
just one
All right.
item that you
And
can
this
eat.
item would not affect your health in a negative way?
No.
Because now you're getting carried away. If I can only eat one thing forever.
Well, two different things then. What the one thing on a
This
world
is getting
where
complicated.
so
Then
complicated.
I love these kind of questions. I feel like these kind of questions really tell a lot about a person. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. One food with no health consequences.
Okay.
What would be the one thing, and that's all you could eat forever,
All
that
right.
one thing. And then if there's health involved, what's the one thing that you'd be able to survive on, and that's all you could eat? What would you want? What would you choose?
So I'd have to live off of that one thing.
Yeah, and
So-
that's
so
all.
prison first, and then those two.
Jesus, I feel like my answer is pizza, pizza, and pizza.
pizza, pizza. all
Pepperoni
around.
and bacon on my pizza. I don't know. Yeah, really. It really, honestly, it depends on what the fuck I've been
You
eating
love
in.
pizza that much?
I
Pizza's like
really
your-
love pizza.
Pizza's delicious.
I love pizza too, but that would not be my last meal.
Ugh, I love pizza a lot. I don't know. It's hard. Am I missing pizza? Like, have I not had pizza in like fucking 50 years?
You haven't had anything. You haven't had a burger. You haven't had anything.
Burger also sounds good.
Yeah. What would be your last meal?
Yeah, I think I would probably have pizza. I'd probably have a pepperoni bacon.
Like stuffed crust pizza?
No, ew.
Or like what style of pizza? Because there's so many styles. Chicago, deep dish. There's so
I
much.
like lots of styles. It could be a Chicago deep dish, but it could also be like a wood fire pizza.
So then have two pizzas. It's your
Maybe
last meal.
Yeah, you're right,
a
Michael.
pizza sandwich.
Yeah,
all
pizza
right.
on pizza. Pizza on pizza crime. I'm
Pizza
into that.
on pizza.
I'm into
crime.
that. I don't know. I think
Okay.
that's pretty good.
So that would
crime.
be your
Yeah.
last meal?
Yeah.
What would be your last meal?
So we talked about this ahead of the podcast, and
So you've
I
been
think
thinking
I'm,
about it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm going to opt for the blowjob option. I'll
Yeah,
skip the meal.
that was. I was like,
this
look,
was
man.
not a thing.
The thing is
you
that
said it, Victor. I don't.
I did not
I
say that.
said it.
Oh, that's right. Chris
I was
is-
talking about how like food is such a big part of your life that like if you are dying on death row, you get a last meal. Like you don't get a last blowjob, you don't get a last
Yeah.
anything else.
I choose the blowjob.
That's not an option, Michael.
All right, then cheesecake.
Oh, good
A
choice,
whole
Michael.
cheesecake and a half gallon of milk.
Damn.
Oh, that's way too much dairy.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
wanna
he's
go out
dying.
like
It
that.
doesn't matter.
I'm gonna
I
be.
know, but I
I'm
don't
gonna
wanna
be
go out
dead
like
by
that.
the time there's consequences.
No, it's
Yeah.
not, the
He's got the consequences for everybody around you. It's a great choice.
Huh?
It would
a
be
great
an
choice.
immediate consequence
Yeah.
for me. Like
He
the gallon of
immediately
milk would be-
released the cheesecake.
Yeah. At least the cheesecake.
Cheesecake is delicious.
I
but
love cheesecake. Good
yeah.
choice. That's
My-
also a really good
Thank you.
no
It would be a pumpkin cheesecake too, by
no
the way.
effect of bad for you choice too, because fucking cheesecake.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think mine would be donut burgers. Burgers
burgers.
on donuts
Oh,
as
all right.
rolls.
Wow.
So I had the ordinary pub in town.
Yeah.
Oh, I've had that.
The
The
pork
pork belly
belly
and-
on the donuts. You know those donuts are Baker's Pride donuts?
Yeah.
That makes sense
Yep.
because
Yeah.
everything Baker's Pride is
So good.
Delish.
So it would be Baker's Pride donuts with a burger
I like
and like
that.
a monstrous
Amount of-
cheese,
okay.
burgery, bacony,
bacon.
delicious. Like every amazing topping on a burger, but like goat cheese, like 9 cheeses, every
An
like
egg.
Yes, that's one of my favorite things.
I
is
love
a
that.
fried egg
I
on a
do too.
burger.
Aaron is
Like,
I
really
do
into
too.
that.
Huge
Yo.
fan.
You know what's
it's immediately a brunch burger.
you know what made me? What really turned me on and why I started doing that is, have you ever seen the movie Spanglish?
Yeah.
That sandwich that he makes
Oh, where he cuts
in there,
the egg.
and then he cuts it, and
Yeah.
the yolk just
Yeah.
drizzles down. So if you have
Yolk.
the DVD
The DVD.
of the, I'm old. I'm
Okay,
old.
I'm
Chrissy.
sorry. Okay.
What
If
is
you
a
had
D-
the
what's a
DVD,
DVD?
for Spanglish, I had the DVD for that. They have one of the the extras that were on
Yeah.
DVDs.
It's a recipe
all the
for that
other old-
sandwich?
Yes.
No way.
So because he was a chef in the movie, they had a chef come in. They were like, so that scene was like apparently like a big deal, and they were like, if he's a chef and he's going to make a sandwich, he's not going to just throw bologna in it. Even though all the chefs were like, I mean, that's how we eat. at
Yeah,
home.
they're
We eat
like, we're
crap.
we're
They're like,
drinking
we-
out of plastic containers.
Yeah, they're like- but they were like, we wanted a sandwich that would be like equivalent, like an at-home sandwich for a chef. And so they put a lot of thought, and this was that sandwich they made. I've made that sandwich. It was so
Oh,
Yeah, there's
sure.
something orgasmic about the cutting of the egg when it blah,
and it
it's
just
good.
Oh, yeah, it's a
oozes,
thing.
and the dip. Blah, I'm hungry.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, you should make
All right,
those for
you're
us
welcome,
next-
everyone
next
who wasn't
podcast.
hungry
Next
before
podcast. I'll
listening
get
to this
right on that.
podcast.
Yeah. So it would be some sort of burger with a gooey egg and cheese and deliciousness to it, with a hit of spice, not a ton, but like a hit of spice on it, on donuts.
I like that.
Yes, that would be, I think, what today. That's what it. My answer for that.
I know. I
changes
feel like
depending
it
on
just
the day.
depends on the day.
That's what I was trying to think
does.
of something
Yeah.
that it wouldn't change. Like I
Yeah.
could still eat that even if I happen to be craving something different. This
So-
is we're
You're
pretending it's a
definitely not
blank slate
getting-
for crave.
Yeah.
You're
cravings.
definitely not
Blank
getting
slate for
cheesecake in
everything.
prison, so I feel like that's a really good choice.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
right.
Like
And you know we've
cheesecake.
also messed up. We don't have to just pick one item. This is your last meal.
That's true.
Oh,
So,
that's fair. But
I would probably stack
so I
some
would
more
have the
carbs
cheesecake
on
for
the side
dessert.
of my
yeah,
shit.
maybe
Yeah.
a chicken parm on the front end of that.
Oh, that
I would
could
have
be good.
tiramisu for dessert,
All right,
but like a whole one,
all right, all right.
Like a whole one.
like a whole sheet cake of tiramisu.
I love that. I love that.
and I would just bathe in it. What? Sorry, I got excited. What would be the
Bathe
one
in
thing
it.
that you would survive on? No calories counting.
Chicken. So
No
survive
calories.
on, it has to be healthy, you had said.
You know,
Yeah,
he's
there's
saying
two.
there's two options. One of
No.
them is like you have to survive on it, and it does affect
You just have
your
to
health.
eat it every day, and it
the,
does affect
and the
your-
other
it-
one
Right.
does.
So it
I
has to be chicken.
I agree.
And
it
the
has
other
to be
one that
chicken.
it doesn't affect your health.
That doesn't
Cheesecake.
cheesecake.
Yeah, I mean, like that answer's the same. Pizza.
Yeah. I think for that it would be because I
Pizza.
couldn't eat that burger every day. I would get so over. Like it's
I know.
so
That's what's great
intense.
about pizzas. You can eat it every day.
Yeah,
And I never
that
get
would be
tired of
my
cheesecake.
answer.
And the reason I don't eat it often is because it is so calorie dense.
God, it
Although I need to
is.
get back in the habit of making my protein cheesecake.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing was only like 1,600 to 1,800 calories and 160 grams of protein.
Yeah,
Banging.
just.
Yeah.
Well, that would be the only thing I ate that day on a diet. Like the leanest I've ever been, I got that lean eating stuff like that. It was great.
I have to say, I am so shocked every day that I drink chocolate milk on the regular and have
Yeah.
lost so much weight.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's the ideals of food and what I thought prior to this whole process is so dramatically different than where I'm at
Once you
now.
know that a quote unquote diet, you can still eat the things you enjoy. It's just accountability for the amounts. That's what people, that's where they really fuck up on. And that's where they get too twisted. We're like, oh, I got to be accountable for everything. That sucks. I'm not going to do that. Oh, but I'm miserable right now. So, something has to give.
Yeah.
And it's whether or not it's your accountability for counting some things, but still getting to enjoy all your favorite fucking things and then being healthier, happier, and looking better naked.
It's just like, for me, I'm not going to enjoy a meal if there's no carbs in it. I like
100%.
carbs. You know
Same.
what I mean? So it's like, I'm not going to eat chicken and broccoli. There's going to have to be something fun. That's what I
Yeah.
consider fun is carbohydrates on that plate. It's got to be potatoes, French fries.
Yeah.
It's got to have a bun. Something's got to be happening.
Yeah.
The tortilla, give me something.
So I enjoy the chicken sandwiches too. Like I said, I grill up a lot of chicken in bulk, and I always do it with that Dale's and Italian dressing. But I actually enjoy sliced up that chicken specifically, not just boiled or plain ass weird
boring
chicken.
chicken, no.
But
Make
I
your
like the
chicken fun.
well cooked marinated chicken in my rice with that barbecue sauce. Now, I actually enjoy that,
Yeah, you know what makes that fun? The rice.
and the barbecue sauce.
The rice is important.
So I don't think I would do chicken. If I had to survive on one thing, I think I would do pork.
yeah, you
Okay,
are a pork
all right.
man.
I've, like I said, I think I've said this before. I've started doing the pork butts and in a crock pot, season the crap out of them, put them in the crock pot, 12 hours. So I found the magic number after doing some research. I used to cook them to what pork's supposed to be cooked to, like 165, 170. It's 200 you need to hit as an internal temp, and then it just falls apart, and it's amazing.
Good to know.
So if you hit
For a slow cook.
yeah, if you hit 200 on a slow cook, it takes about 12 hours on like a standard. Because they're all about the same size when you buy a pork
So you're just
butt.
throwing it in a cork pot.
Yeah.
A cork pot.
Cork pot. Spit
Crock
cork.
pot, fat side up.
I wonder how it'd come out in an Instapot.
I've never used one of those in my life, so I couldn't tell you.
Bruh.
We should
I
try
know,
that,
people-
Michael.
It'll cook
I-
stuff in a fraction of the time,
It
and you
does
probably
do it
still get the
faster.
same thing because it's doing the same effects as a pressure cooker.
It is a
I've
pressure
never
cooker.
used that
Yeah,
either.
that's why.
That's why it's exactly
It's just like a pressure cooker because that's what it is.
But without the weight on top that can fly through people's foreheads.
I mean, that's still on there.
What?
That little dial, that's the thing that flies through people's foreheads.
What?
Yeah, Michael. I mean, they're well designed. They shouldn't do that.
Have you seen the old school ones though that
Yes,
literally have
yeah.
that circle of weight that goes on? I didn't know the one on the.
Oh
that's-
my goodness.
Shambles.
So,
I don't think it's going to be good to do as much damage as like a nice big heavy one.
but yeah,
Probably
put the
not,
crock pot with for me, I like to keep it simple, and we love garlic in this house.
Look, this is
You're
Kirby's
right. The
culinary
Instant Pot is so
concoctions
much more
Yeah.
difficult.
via Victor.
Via
Via
Victor.
Victor. Yeah. We have to.
But
I
yeah,
have a
just-
song for that.
The
Yeah,
pork
well,
butt,
get on it.
and I use kosher salt. You got to use kosher salt. Can't
Yeah.
use table salt. Kosher salt.
Wouldn't want to use table salt.
Victor's
Do you
valuable
use table? Do you not have kosher salt in your house?
No, I do. I'm just fucking with you.
I was like, I
I
never
have an
thought that it mattered,
obsession
but
with
it really
sea
did
salt,
matter.
and I have like all of
Oh,
these
that works too.
various
Sea salt works
sea
too.
salt blends, and they come with other spices
Oh,
in
yeah,
them, and
yeah,
they're
yeah.
like, oh, amazing. Anyway,
I'm
I love
so
that.
hungry right now.
Okay, let's go
Yeah.
eat some food. Love you guys. Bye.
Oh my god.
Make some pork, some eggs. Do the things. Think about. That's what I want you guys to put on
Yeah,
social.
someone tell me what your last meal
what
would
your
be.
last meals would be, because I just
I
love
have some people.
food.
People are going to think about this, and they're going to have better answers.
No doubt
than
about
us.
it. Yeah.
You got to have better answers.
Yeah,
than
I'm gonna steal someone
cheesecake.
else's.
And cheesecake and blowjobs.
That's a great answer. I don't know
Oh,
what you're
you're
talking
eating the
about.
cheesecake? That I might be in for. That I'm changing my answer to that. Guys, we love you. Thank you so much. Reach out to us on social, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.